Baxter County Roundtable, episode 18, Joe. Take two.
We're back, baby.
We are back. Okay, so in case nobody out there can read lips and Joe is not up on his sign language,
Hey, I'm working it. I'm working on it.
we have with us tonight our very own county clerk and circuit clerk, Ms. Canda Reese. Canda, thank you very much for coming out and joining us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me to be here. I'm honored.
So, I don't remember where we went from there.
Well, we were letting Canda introduce herself
Yes.
to us.
So you
Let
are
us know a little bit.
the Baxter County clerk, and you're also the Baxter County circuit clerk. So it's two hats that you're wearing, correct?
That is true. There are 18 counties in the state of Arkansas out of 75 counties. 18 of us are dual clerks, so we serve in the dual role as the county clerk and the circuit clerk. And the rest of those counties have separate offices for those two.
So it's a good thing nobody heard us talking about two paychecks for you, because
Well,
it died in committee. Sorry to
yeah.
report that. So this is what, your 13th year as our clerk?
My 13th year.
And you are planning on running again in this next election
That
cycle,
is my
correct?
plan,
Okay.
yes.
So yeah, Canda, just a little bit about yourself. You and your husband have been here in the county, lived in Baxter County for a number of years now, right?
We have. We've been here 34 years, 34 and a half years in Baxter County. We came here straight out of college. We
College
were
of the Ozarks, right?
both
Isn't that
College
cool?
of the Ozarks. That's right. There's my alma mater. Yeah, we were both young and green behind the ears, and a lot of water under the bridge since then. But we've been blessed to live in Baxter
That's
County
a
for
very
all
good
that
school,
time.
by
It
the
is a
way.
great school, I know.
It is absolutely. Yep.
It's not as
I-
good as Ole Miss, but it's
Ooh.
Well,
it's a good
no,
school.
no, no,
I
no,
might
no.
even dispute that. The football team's probably not as good, but
I played
We
more
didn't
football
have a
than
football team at C of O, actually. There's a story behind that, but anyways, no football team still.
So 35 years in Baxter County and 13 of them so far as the clerk. So before that, kind of a little bit of background, what did you do before?
I have, for my entire working career until I got elected, I have worked for not-for-profits. I did community mental health for a period of time, actually for several years. I managed the alternative school here in Baxter County back years ago before it was part of the public school system. I managed the homeless shelter in town for a couple of years, and that's what I was doing at the time that I got elected to office. So, anyways.
What made you decide to run? I mean, what kind of drew you into politics and the public life?
Oh my goodness. I never, ever, ever would have chosen that for myself. And I was asked to run. I'll just leave it at that. I was asked to run. That's a story for another day, but clearly the Lord had a hand in that.
Okay, so from that background, that nonprofit, doing good work for the people, to make your chosen home a lot better. So once you get into office, what did you look at and say, okay, yeah, this runs well, maybe we need to change this, maybe we need to do that? I guess your first task, what was your first order of business other than running the normal county business? What did you look to do?
When I very first came in office, it was abundantly clear to me that we needed to be leveraging technology in the way that we managed the office. And so as the clerk, we're the keeper of the record and the keeper of Baxter County's history. And a lot of courthouses have kept that history by maintaining lots of paper, big old books, lots of paper case files and different things like that. And I wanted to leverage technology in that. So we have implemented technology in every way that we can to bring the office into the 21st century. So that was the big thing, and that's an ongoing process. Things change with technology and every day. But we started out with advancements in utilizing technology for our land records, and then we proceeded from there into utilizing technology with our court records, and it's just grown from there.
can the general public benefit from this directly?
Absolutely. Whereas in the past, you would have to, if you wanted to find out information, for example, about court cases, circuit court cases that had been filed in our county, you could come in, you could review a paper case file. That information is all online now. With the exception of like juvenile cases or sealed case information, That information you can search it in your PJs when you're
That's my
at
preferred.
home at night. And
Don't stand up.
same with land records. We've been able to get our land records available online back to 2007. Going back prior to 2007, we could put those online. However, there's requirements in the law about social security numbers and documents, and being able to make sure that those are redacted out, that personal information is redacted out of documents. And prior to 2007, there were not laws in place keeping them from putting that information in the documents. So we've run our documents, our digital documents, we've run through some redaction software to try to identify social security numbers, dates of birth, and account numbers. I've not been confident in the outcome of that process. And so until I can be absolutely confident that it's identified every document that might have personal information in there, I'm not comfortable with releasing them online.
That makes
So
sense.
people can still come into our office and search those in those documents. But to put them out on the World Wide Web prior to 2007, at this point, we're not.
Well, now, the stuff that is accessible to the general public, how would a guy like me access that? Where would I go?
If you wanted to look up your deed, for example, in your PJs at night at home, if you
preferred
went on to BaxterCountyAR.gov, there is a tab for each of the different elected officials. You'll go into the clerk's my page on that website, and on that page there's a link for titlesearcher.com. So your direct way to get there would be titlesearcher.com, but most people aren't going to remember that. They're going to want to be able to get into BaxterCountyAR.gov, go and find that link to take them to search land records.
Now, is that a free service, or do you pay for that?
That is, we pay for that, and users pay for that. If you get in there, an individual user can search documents. If they print copies of them, that's when the pay would trigger. But title companies, attorneys' offices, banks, and things like that, they do a subscription so they can get an unlimited number of
How does
documents.
that differ from, say, me coming there and looking myself? Would I be able to get something printed there?
Yes, you can come into the office. We have public search computers. All of our documents are now scanned in. All of our deed books are scanned in. We rarely have to go pull the books anymore. Most all of that we've been able to get digitized and be able to search that. So there are public computers. You can come in and we'll teach you how to use that.
That
You
was
can
gonna be
search
my
all of
next
your.
question.
You can search documents to your heart's
Some
content.
people are challenged in that.
If you decide to print those documents, it's just the standard copy fee of
Okay.
a quarter a page.
Okay, that's good.
I like that because the county where I grew up offers the same stuff in its own, but there's a period for about 20 years that there was a fire back in I want to say it was in the 50s, and a lot of records were lost in that part. So, not that it really matters, but if you were looking into your genealogy or some land transactions or some historical data, it's just not there anymore, and that really is a shame.
We have, a lot of people don't know, our courthouse burned in the 1890s, and we have documents, we have books in my vault in the courthouse that went through the fire that were heavily damaged. And in fact, I was able to get some of those preserved last year or the year before, I'm not sure. I think it was last year, actually. So they've cleaned the acids out, but they're just singed all the way around them. They're just amazing pieces of history.
I've seen ours that you'll take a page and it's burned around it, but not in the middle. It's where the fire
Yes.
came through.
Exactly, and they're so brittle.
Yes.
So when we were able to do a project to have some of those preserved, and I love the outcome of that because now those are going to be here for generations to come.
Excellent.
Well, what about something, Canda, in the 13 years? I mean, what's something that you're like, man, I'm proud of this. This is something that I did as the clerk. Not that you're tooting your own horn or bragging, but what is something that you say, hey, this is the feather in my hat. This is an accomplishment, and I'm proud of it, as you probably should be. What is
Well,
something?
I'll speak to two different things. One is going to electronic documents for our court cases. That was a huge undertaking when we first started that project, actually in 2014. And we've brought that forward to the point that now we don't get paper documents for court cases anymore. People electronically file those documents to us, and everything is handled electronically on that, with the exception of self-represented litigants who file their own paperwork without an attorney doing that for them. So that's been a huge accomplishment. The other thing is I'm so honored to be able to serve as the president of the Circuit Clerks Association. I've served in leadership with both boards, the County Clerks Association and the Circuit Clerks Association. I've served on the Circuit Clerks Board for a long time, and to be elected as the president has just been a true honor, and I'm really proud of that.
And how many counties are there in Arkansas?
There are 75 counties in the state of Arkansas.
Okay.
Now, do those counties vote for that position?
Yes, all of the clerks.
So it's all the clerks vote.
All
So
the
all your
clerks.
peers put you into this. Yeah,
They
that's
did.
Very
I'm
good.
Very honored.
Yeah, you should be. We're proud of you for that. So,
Thank you.
So,
They didn't tell me how much work it was, though.
of course they didn't.
Yeah, anyways, but
Yeah,
it's
they
just a
don't-
privilege to be able
They
to
don't
do that.
So your staff, you have a certain a number of, and it's all ladies in your office, right?
It is right now, yes.
So yeah, we need to.
I'm a secretary.
We need to get the DEI on this to get some.
Yeah,
get
it's-
some
Just bring it,
representation,
we need to modernize a little bit.
you need to get into the 21st century.
some DEI going.
But-
I need some applicants to be able to hire
Maybe
other,
they're scared of going in there with a bunch of women.
Well,
But okay, so how many of your employees? How many report to you? That they
I
work?
have 10 full-time staff and 1 part-time staff
Okay.
right now.
And that's pretty much been the same in the 13 years that you've been in office, correct?
Pretty much. We've added 1 position, but
Added
yes.
one. So, and what I imagine with technology, I'm not going to say it eases the workload, but
It just
maybe
changes
makes it,
the
changes it or
workload.
makes it a little more efficient, where you can now actually do more work. And that's something that
And-
makes me happy, Joe.
In theory, you don't have to worry about fires. Well, I'm hoping you back all that stuff up. And
We
you have a
do.
system there
All of
somewhere.
our stuff is duplicated in other states. It is redundant and backed up and secure to the greatest extent that we can make it. And then, of course, our old books and paper documents. I have 4 vaults in the courthouse, and those vaults have walls that are about 2 foot thick. I'm pretty comfortable. They have steel doors, and if there, God forbid, if there ever was a fire, we've got stuff pretty secured. I pray that we never encounter that.
Let's hope not. That's pretty impressive, though. I like that. When I was in undergraduate and grad school, I would find myself spending way too many hours in the libraries or the archives, and after a while, you're like, man, I'm starving.
There's
You look down and you've been there like 8 hours.
There's so much interesting information there, though. I just was kind of digging around in our oldest vault down in the basement back during my first year in office, and just to kind of get a feel for what's there. And I came across a naturalization record that is just so interesting to me
Yeah.
because these people, when they were petitioning for citizenship, they would fill out their papers for naturalization, and then they'd have to wait a period of time. I mean, it gives
They
the
would come to
information
Mountain
about.
Home to do that?
Yes,
wow.
and it gives the information about what vessel they sailed across the ocean on,
wow.
and what port they landed
Yeah.
in, and then what their job is now and where they live, and then they would have to wait a period of time, and then they would come back in and they would sign an oath denouncing their allegiance to the king of the country that they came from and pronouncing their allegiance to the United States of America. And it was so amazing to me to come across that in our courthouse. There's so much history in there, and just to be a part of that, I mean, that's
Was there
pretty
any
amazing.
way to tell where the majority of those people came from, or is it?
I've not had the time to really look record after record and put my finger on did they all kind of come from the same places, but what I've seen, various countries and
That's interesting
just
that they
different
found Mountain
places.
Home.
Now, are
then.
those digitized?
Those are not yet digitized. I need to do that at some point.
Because when I was in grad school, I worked for a newspaper. They advertised for the archivist, which meant go into the back room. The little daily paper went back to 1912. They published one 5 days a week, and then somebody would take each daily and put it in a binder, and they'd bind it by month, and then put it on a shelf by year. Well, it had fallen over, and there was a huge pile, and it took me all summer. But you start looking through it, and one of them that stands out in my mind was an aeroplane came to Cleveland, Mississippi.
How
In
interesting.
1914, and one of the local pastors rode from Cleveland to Memphis, and it took them 2 days to get there on an airplane.
How cool
They
is that?
talked about he crashed twice. They had to land once for a storm, and they had to. The pilot carried
What time does the wagon
baling
leave?
wires. I know. So, and
waiting
it's
for
just
the wagon.
interesting, a very interesting insight into that part of America. And that part of that
Absolutely.
history. So.
Yeah, and people don't understand the depth of history that's right there in all of our county courthouses, and I didn't even have a clue. Before I got there,
Interesting stuff.
it is
How long has Mountain Home been Mountain Home? Do we know that?
1880.
Well, that's close enough.
You promised me you wouldn't
That's
ask me a
close.
question I didn't
Hey,
know the answer to.
Ballpark figures work for me. That's pretty
That's why you
good.
just make something up. Nobody else knows either, right? No, Joe, there's somebody out there that does, and the
Yeah.
phone's fixing to start ringing.
Exactly, and they're going to say our clerk doesn't even know
I
the.
don't even know what year we were incorporated.
My philosophy on that is sometimes you got to kick some information out to make room
Yeah,
for something
I
else to
get
go
it.
in.
I
So
get that.
anyway,
My filing cabinet is not as big as yours, I bet.
So, as the county clerk or circuit clerk, you're an elected official. You're elected by the people of the county, and you. Let me think of a good way to put this. You don't report to anyone or answer to anyone other than the citizens that elected you into office
The
and
voters who put
the
us
laws that are laid out about how. You have certain limits where you operate. But so like the relationship between you and like the collector, the sheriff, the county judge, obviously it has to be a good working relationship because some of your duties probably overlap a little bit some ways. And
they do. We all work so closely together on so many different things, and it's kind of interesting sometimes if somebody gets mad, they come in and they don't get an answer that they wanted. They'll be like, "Well, who's your boss? I'm going to report you."
you are, sir.
What's the number to the county judge? And people have that perception that the county judge is the rest of our boss.
So you're saying you absolutely do not answer to the county judge
I don't.
at all.
I answer to the voters who put me there, and
But we
I'm
expect
very
you to work in concert reasonably with others.
yes, and I am so thankful that I have a team of fellow elected officials who we all work so well together. Because I'll just tell you, I mentioned the County Clerks Association, Circuit Clerks Association. Clerks get together and talk. Collectors get together and talk. County judges get together and talk. And we are so blessed in Baxter County. I hear other counties in the other parts of the state and some of the things that they deal with, and it makes me count my blessings because we, for the most part, we don't always agree on everything.
Well, you shouldn't.
But we respect each other. We work hard together, and we are so blessed to have the working relationships across the board with our county elected officials that we do.
Well, and not only that, my experience has been that any of these offices, including yours, and yours has under you, I get treated like royalty when I walk into these places, and that's kind of a nice
Absolutely.
feeling.
Well,
I
and Canda, I was going to
appreciate
point
hearing
out,
that.
I've been in
All the-
office as the District 4 Justice of the Peace for 7 years now. And I hope you remember when I first got elected, I came around and I introduced myself to all the other elected officials. And I don't come around as often as I used to, but I always make it a point to come by and spoke to everybody. And that's one of the takeaways that I got immediately after about the third or fourth month in office, that even though all the people don't agree with each other at all the times, it's just like a bunch of brothers and sisters. But the one of the common threads I found was that every elected official did work together for what's best for the citizens of this county.
We have
And-
worked hard to be able to do
Yes,
that.
and that was very impressive to me. And like I said, I didn't have a basis because I never held public office before, but that stood out in my mind, and it still does.
I've
But
had-
let me also piggyback on that. For a justice of the peace to take time out of their day to walk through the courthouse and meet the county employees who are there day in and day out serving our community, that makes an impact with them. And I think it's so important for them to see those people and know that their JPs are interested in who they are and the work that they do, because they don't see very many of them.
Well, and if my attitude toward it was, you guys do this every day. Y'all are familiar with the ordinances, with the state laws, with county laws. I don't have the time to go figure this stuff out. I put my trust in you. And one of my stances has always been, when a person gets elected to a public office, then there's a certain amount of trust involved, right? And it's, okay, let's trust that person until they give us a reason not to.
Right.
And that's, we get a lot of people ask me questions, and I was like, I don't know the answer to that. But I know the clerk will have that answer. The county clerk will, or the assessor can answer that. So, let me make a phone call. Or let me go by their office. They've always been very accommodating and have taken time to answer questions on my part, so I can get back to the people who put me in office.
And
it's
I'll tell you another personal experience I've had. Again, I've had, I'm not going to say which office, but I've had certain elected officials go out of their way to find me when we did have a disagreement, and we resolved it. So I think that's kind of a rare event in
I don't have a problem with disagreeing, and I think you guys should disagree. Disagree in private. Come up with, okay, here's the plan of action for the people, and then let's execute it.
Right.
And, not everybody's going to be happy, but nobody's going to be happy anyway. I mean, that's just the way life is.
Now that you mentioned that brings another thought, and it's a little bit off topic, but I think it's appropriate to say. I, from time to time, about once every 6 to 8 weeks, schedule touch base meetings with each of my staff so I can hear from them about, what's going on, what do you need help with, what are you progress you're making on projects, different things like that. Been meeting with my staff today, and individually, you have no idea how many times I have heard people are not nice. People who come into our office, people on the telephone, and it breaks my heart to think, and we see it all the time. We're living in a society where people have lost the ability to be respectful to other people. And I just want to throw out there, public servants, the people who work in our courthouses, our law enforcement that are on the streets every day, people in the collector's office, those people get up and go to work and do their job, and they work hard, and there is no good reason for people to disrespect them, to be ugly or mean to them. They're there working hard trying to do their job, and for them to get you see it, even you go to a doctor's office and you see a sign on the wall that says, "Don't mistreat our
I
staff."
saw that the other day.
What have we come to?
Wow.
Yeah, that you have to put a sign up to
That you
tell
have to
people
put
to
a
be
sign
polite.
up to tell people to be polite. And so I'm just going to throw that out there, that just people need to be mindful of the fact that we all put our britches on one leg at a time. None of us is better than another, and be kind. People need to be kind. So I'm sorry,
I'm surprised to hear that. I mean, there's honorary people everywhere, but I have had nothing but great service
Joe,
from.
maybe you go in there and you're nice to them, and they're willing to help. You never know.
Well, I hope they're nice regardless.
Yeah.
But I know that it weighs on them. Their job is not easy to begin with. Especially in our office, people don't understand. But if people come into the clerk's office, it's not because they're having a great day. I mean, we do have a few of those. They come in to get their marriage license. But then on the other end of that, they're coming in either because they just found out a lawsuit's been filed against them. They just got their kids taken away. They just got charged with, criminal charges. They are coming in to get a petition for an order of protection because they just got beaten up by their significant other. It's people who are dealing with difficult things, and I get that.
Yeah.
But don't take it out on me.
Well, everybody's dealing with their own difficulties, and so, anyways, just it broke my heart to hear my staff saying it's just increasing more and more all of the time, that more and more callers on the other end of the line are just disrespectful. More and more people who come into the office, they're just disrespectful, and it shouldn't be that way.
That's a shame.
Yeah. So, sorry, I preached
that,
my
Joe?
sermon for
I
the
heard
day.
it. No.
Okay. All right, so our clerk is off of her soapbox now.
Off of my soapbox.
And, I've just in my observations, my time on the court, my time in dealing with you and with the other elected officials, you and I haven't always agreed on,
That is
on
true.
items. And it's not personal, it's business.
That's true.
I disagree, you disagree, and you know what? But I think the county right now is in a pretty good spot.
I really feel that we are.
Financially, I think Janae has done a great job with our money. We've done a great job trying not to spend it on frivolous stuff. Excuse me.
Pardon me?
No, that really was a joke.
Something in my throat there.
The sheriff is busy locking up criminals and bad guys. I think this is a nice place to live.
It is,
it's
and
because
it's
of the people.
I mentioned people who come in and they're mean, but there's also a lot of people who come in who've moved here from other places, and they're like, "What? You mean I can talk to the clerk? I can talk to the county judge and actually see," because they come from a place where those elected officials are either a figurehead or they're not accessible to the public. I love to visit with the people who come in our office, and I think all of my fellow electeds, we're available. People come in and they're like, everybody here is so nice, and
That's been my experience.
yes,
Mine too.
and that's what I want to hear.
Even before I came into office.
And I come from one of those big counties where you didn't get to. You were just a number, really.
Yeah.
If that, they didn't care about you.
I had first moved here, and it probably was 2011, and there was an article in the Baxter Bulletin about our county sheriff making the prisoners down at the jailhouse wear the prison outfits, and people were upset about it. And I remember just randomly calling the sheriff's office to say, hey, if you don't want to wear those goofy clothes, don't get put in jail, right? And hey, is the sheriff available? And one of the clerks was like, oh, hang on a minute. And John Montgomery picked the phone up.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And I told him, I spoke my piece, and he said, well, thank you for calling, sir. And he said, I tend to agree with that. Don't want to wear these clothes, don't get put in jail. And
I remember when that article
Yeah.
came out, it had to do with people on work
on the work
detail
crews,
wearing jail stripes.
don't break the law. So
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
treating them too good these days, I think. But
anyway, well, Canda, so you're up for re-election. You are running again.
That is my intent.
And-
Yes, sir.
If you're elected, what are your plans for the future for your office and for this county? Do you have any big projects that you're looking at? Or I know we're going to talk here in a few minutes about one that's kind of near and dear to your heart and Russ's heart over there. But is there anything else that you've got kind of, hey, we're going to start doing this?
Just continuing the momentum moving forward. We have kind of gotten to a pretty sweet spot in terms of our daily duties and digitizing, utilizing technology, and so now we've stepped into a phase of looking at how can we preserve the history that's here, because that kind of has taken a back seat to what does it take to do the job every day, and so we've moved into looking at what are ways to preserve the history that's here as well. So we'll continue working on that, and then continuing just to try to be a trendsetter in the state. We truly, a lot of people don't understand how much Baxter County has set itself apart from so many of the other counties. Other counties do look to us because we are ahead of the game when it comes to implementing new things, taking our offices forward, and so we'll be continuing to work to do that.
See, that's solid leadership on the part of District 4, Justice of the Peace.
Oh, yes. I didn't realize we had you solely to thank for that, but yes,
Well,
yes.
I've got another question in the technology
Sure.
area. And I kind of know the answer to this, but others may not. The quorum court agenda comes from you somehow, and we can get that somehow. Can you explain that to us, how that works? If I want the agenda prior to the quorum court meeting, what can I do? What do I do?
Absolutely. So the agenda is created in the county judge's office, and then they send it down to me the Tuesday before the quorum court meeting. So 1 week prior to the quorum court meeting, they send it to me, and I distribute that to everybody who's on the distribution list. And anybody who wants to get the quorum court agenda, the ordinances and resolutions that are going to be voted on at the upcoming meeting, if they want on that distribution list, all they have to do is call me and give me their email address, and I'll add them to the list.
Just do it over the phone.
Super simple.
So it'll be that same list that I get from you every month when I get
Yes.
my copy of the agenda and all the ordinances.
The JPs get it at the same time that Joe and everybody else.
Is there any
gets
way
it.
to get the committee meetings? Is that available?
The judge's office handles the agenda for the committee meetings.
Okay,
They send that out, so that would be asking them for that.
Okay.
Ms. Beck or Chrissy Ford.
That's
up
right, in the county
judge's
judge's
Okay.
Help you
office.
with that.
Not
Yeah.
your department.
No.
That one
Say
is not.
typical government,
Well,
not my job.
yeah, come on, man. You're supposed
I
to
don't
do
ever
it all.
want to be the one that says
You gotta
not
do
my
it
job.
all.
But another thing, I don't want to lose the opportunity to bring attention to the property fraud alert, because that's an important tool that we've been able to implement and offer for the citizens of Baxter County. Property fraud is a growing crime in our country, and it makes me sad to think that, because people work hard. That's probably most people's most valued possession is their property or their home, and that's a growing crime. It is not one that we're seeing a lot in Baxter County, but I know there's a lot of people who are concerned about it. And people watch TV, and on TV it's full of ads of saying, send us some money and we'll let you know, if something's fraudulently recorded, taking your property or whatever. People can sign up for Property Fraud Alert for free. We are providing that service. All it is you can get on the website and put in your name. However many different ways it might be listed.
What was that website again?
So if you go to BaxterCountyAR.gov, on the top of the main page, there's the picture of the courthouse. There's a banner that says election information, and right below it, there's a banner that says Baxter County Property Fraud Alert. And so you can just click in. It's super easy. We've just recently got that moved to the front of the page so that it's easy to find. But
That's a free service that
it
you're
is a
offering
free
to the
service.
citizens. Yeah.
yes, and
Along
it will.
with notary, the notary service.
Yes, we
I've
provide
sent plenty of people to
notary.
y'all's office to get stuff notarized.
Those seem to be getting harder to find, because we have more and more people coming in. They're like, I used to get it notarized at such
That's
and
because you
such.
put them
and-
all out of business with that free service, right?
Well, anyways.
No, that's pretty impressive. I mean, it really is. This amount of
proud.
services offered, not just by your office, but by the other elected officials as well. And as we've discussed plenty of times, Joe, you and I, the information is there. A lot of people just don't know how to get to it, to get what they're looking for. And the website's looking really good. I've watched it change over the years that I've been in office.
And a lot of people are afraid to come in there and
I
because
don't want people to be afraid. If people have a question, they could pick up the phone and call me. That's what I'm there for. The people put me in office, and I'm there to serve the people. And if they have a question, I want to be as transparent as possible. I want people to know what their Baxter County government is doing, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to help.
A lot of times people think they're afraid to ask a question because somebody might say they've asked a dumb question.
There is no dumb question.
You're not going to get that kind of treatment at your office, I know for sure.
No,
Yeah.
I've just not seen it.
I haven't either.
There is never a dumb question.
I
I tell
agree
my
with that.
staff that every day. Never a dumb question.
That's right.
25 years in the Army. Russ, Navy, okay, anyway. I'm just saying. Canda, thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you coming. I know, I'm not going to speak for Joe, but I know Joe appreciates
Oh,
you
I
coming.
do. I'm glad she's here. And is there anything else you'd like to add before you say farewell?
I'm sure there's things I forgot to mention, but
Well, then you just come back here and
Come see us anytime.
We'll
'Cause
take it up.
that's
I
one of the
appreciate it.
goals of this roundtable, is to get this information out there. Has been the past couple of years one of the complaints, and it does have legitimacy that people believe that, well, the information's not there. I'm like, the information is there. It's just not easy to get. And as I looked into it, I thought, okay, yeah, it's there, but I had to kind of dig and yeah, okay. So
We're working to improve that.
let's make it easier.
And when there's information that people want and they're having trouble finding it, not only if they'll let us know, we'll help them find it, but also it brings to our attention that people are having trouble with that.
And that's where I was.
That's a huge thing. I didn't have any idea when recently Russ was asking about committee meeting minutes for quorum court committees and where to find those. Well, what I know is our process, and I know where those were going, and I thought that they were flowing on through to the county website to be easily accessible. What I learned was, no, they weren't. And so we've corrected that, but it took somebody telling me, this is what I need, and it's not there.
But
so
it is now.
It is now,
is now.
yes, and
Yep.
I'm thankful for that. So
Okay, Joe.
Well, we appreciate you taking care
we
of
do.
those.
Joe, do you have anything else that you would like?
No, I just thanks for coming and come on back first chance you get.
Yeah,
Thank
come see
you.
us anytime.
Maybe did you want to discuss anything about? I know there's upcoming election.
there is
You're
elections
gonna
coming
get
up.
pretty busy during that time, aren't you?
We are, yes. The filing period opens November the 3rd at noon, and it closes on November the 12th at noon. And so all the county-wide offices, the state level constitutional offices, all the quorum court and constable offices, school board offices, all of those will be filing during that filing period at the
And they
beginning
all
of
have to
November.
come through you at some
They
point,
all have
correct?
to come to us.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Or come to Lindsay, put her to work.
Yes, it's
Which
a
that was
privilege
a
to
very
delegate.
good move on everybody's part. That's
Yes.
a very underappreciated position she's in, and she does
She
a
does a-
fantastic job.
She does a great job. Yes, she does.
All right,
Well, I
We're
wish you well in
blessed.
that endeavor, and
too.
Thank you.
thanks
Thank you again for
thanks-
having me here.
Thanks for coming.
Kenda, thank
I
you so
appreciate it.
much. Now I guess turn the floor over to Russ, huh?
Yeah, come on, Russ.
All right.
All right.
Well, you can hang out here, buddy. Huh? Oh,
I'm gonna let you and Russ handle this one.
okay.
It's always a pleasure, sir.
Thanks again.
Russ, come on, get on camera.
All right, well, come on out.
I'm gonna get out of your way.
Well, we have Russ Gillis up now. And I'll let him tell you we're going to be talking about the county fair a little bit and what we did.
Well, first off, I wanna just set the record straight. Mountain Home was incorporated in 1888.
Okay, good. 1888.
I did not know that until they asked about it, and then I looked it up right quick. Yeah, 1888.
So it's been around a while. That's,
Yes, it
There's-
has.
there's-
It's just getting better with age.
well, I learned a little interesting stuff there too about the people that came here for in the 1800s apparently from who knows where. I didn't find out where yet, but did you look into that?
No, I didn't have time,
Come on,
but
Russ.
I'll tell you, my sister-in-law has done a lot of work on our family tree. And yes, it does fork, first of all. But she's traced my lineage back to 1609.
Wow.
And it is amazing at all the countries over in Europe that my heritage came from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
And,
everywhere.
and you're from Arkansas.
Yeah,
that-
originally from Arkansas.
Okay.
But I'm literally the Heinz 57
Well,
embodiment.
same here, and I migrated here in the 1970s, so I can't be much help there.
Yeah, but I will say this, and I will echo what you were saying about how you get treated at the courthouse. Whether it's the assessor, the collector, the treasurer, the county circuit clerk, or any of the women that work in any of those offices, I have been treated with nothing but dignity and respect from every single one of them ever since I moved up here 5 years ago.
Same here.
It is absolutely amazing. So
Even
if you're
even
getting
through the
treated,
even through the disagreements,
if you're getting treated
Still got the
poorly,
treatment.
maybe you should look in the mirror at how you're conducting yourself. Because if you go in there and you're just nice with them, they will return it tenfold.
yeah.
So, anyway, that being said, our next topic here is at the county fair this year. The Republican committee conducted a straw poll. And the straw poll was concerning whether people thought we should have partisan or nonpartisan elections for the city council. The results of that straw poll are as follows. 152 people participated. 129 favored party labels. In other words, find out, have on the ballot whether they are affiliated with the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, Independent, Libertarian, or whatever. That's 85%. And only 23 favored keeping it nonpartisan as it is. So that's pretty overwhelming. And we asked people why, and you know, just a few of the responses we got were, well, if you don't have a R or a D by their name, how do you know what they are? You know, several people made the comment that, you know, it's crazy to think that just because you don't have to declare whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, that you're not either one of them, or that it doesn't affect how you spend money or whatever. So that being said, I thought it was pretty interesting. Jay, you spent a lot of time down there. What did you learn from it?
Well, I learned that a lot of people didn't know what partisan and nonpartisan was. And the minute you explained that to them, they really quick put in the yes part of it. They wanted it to be partisan. Yep. Talked with a lot of people, and a few of them just didn't want to put anything down, but, you know, even they thought it should be partisan, most of them.
Yeah, I ran into a similar thing. You know, I had explained to a few people what the difference was, and once I explained in my terms how to tell, that it was like, oh yeah, they should be partisan. We should know. And I where I'm at too. I want all the information I can get on anybody that I have.
Yeah, especially if you weren't able to do your research on somebody, that might help. You know,
yeah, I mean,
cast a vote. Or
I know that a lot of people claim to be Republican and don't behave that way, but you know, I don't know what the answer is to solving that problem. But still, if you you know, because sometimes you're just a liar. But if I have an inclination that you're a Republican or a Democrat, either way, you will likely behave in certain ways morally that could be beneficial to me or the way I believe. And I want all the information. I want to know everything about the guy I'm voting for or girl.
Yeah, I do too. And unfortunately, and that was back when we had the podcast, I don't know, a month or so ago, where we had an open discussion about this for a podcast. During my research, I found that's one of the drawbacks of having nonpartisan elections, especially in smaller rural or smaller towns. Number one, there's not a lot of ways to get information around. And, you know, the counter argument to that is, well, in a small town, everybody knows anybody anyway. No, that's not true. You know, you may think you know everybody, but, you know, there's 42,000 people in Baxter County, almost 13,000, probably a little over 13,000 in Mountain Home now. And it's foolish to think that you know every one of them. So
I know a lot of people in Mountain Home, and there's a few of them that even though I like them and know them, I would not want their beliefs in our making decisions around here.
Yeah, that's the truth. You know,
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of people I like personally, but I know how they spend money. I know how they live their life, and it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, but that's not the kind of politician I want running the city or the county.
But the problem really is that people can claim to be a Republican, and it happens a lot because they know that you can get elected because it's a red.
I don't disagree with what you're saying and your thought that you're going into, but that's when it comes back to the party itself, and the party's got to get strong enough to be able to defeat that.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to the straw poll that we conducted last year, and that was, should we have closed primaries or open primaries? Currently, Arkansas has open primaries, which means that you do not, that other undeclared, if you will,
Candidate.
can actually vote in a Republican primary.
Oh,
Now, until such time as we close the primary, such that no one except registered Republicans can vote in the Republican primary, you're always going to have a problem, with people crossing over. But that being said, if you had closed primaries, then the party can somewhat vet those people a little bit better and prevent those that we know are not really Republicans.
that's right.
We can kind of weed them out of the office a little bit easier. Because currently, the way the rule says that if there's a Republican in office, you can't really go against them. The party can't really go against that incumbent. Well, that hurts. That really hinders us from being able to vote those people out. Not saying that it doesn't happen, but it makes it more difficult, more challenging.
Well, and I think there's another matter that is part of this, is maybe a small part, but when you register to vote, you don't declare what party you're from necessarily, and they assign you a letter. It's not a D or an R, it's O,
Well,
right?
here's
right?
the way that works, Joe. I have voter registration forms right here, and it says right here on the form, it says party affiliation, and inside the box, it has the word optional, which means that you do not have to declare your party affiliation. But if you do not declare your party affiliation, the word optional just shows up because that's what's in the box. Because they actually put whatever word is in the box. So if you declare Republican, it'll show up as Republican. If you register as a Democrat, it'll show up as a Democrat or a Libertarian or
And
whatever
I'm
you
just
show.
suggesting that there's a reason
Yes,
that
yes.
that was done, that's all. I'm not gonna
There's
go any
a-
further than that.
Yeah. 85%, over 80% of the people in Baxter County that actually vote Republican. Even though that the number of registered Republicans is far below that 80%. Because most of them, because of the fact that they don't have to be registered Republican to vote in a Republican primary. But
I'm not
think-
sure if many people with the O on their name could have voted for Kamala. So
well, yeah, who knows? But mental illness is a significant problem, throughout this country. But anyway, the thing about it is this straw poll here, it tells us a pretty clear picture
Yeah, and
of
this,
what the people in Baxter County and Mountain Home think.
this kind of weakens the flavor of either party, really,
Yes, it does.
when it comes to primary.
Yeah, it
And
does.
So you
And-
don't get the best people, I
and
feel.
and I'll be honest, and hopefully the people that are listening to the podcast tonight will take heed on this. I hear so many people complain about our politicians, especially once they get elected. Well, I hate that guy. Well, did you vote in the primary? No, it doesn't do any good to vote in the primary. Well, if you don't vote in the primary, you're just voting for the person that someone else chose. You don't have a say once the primary is over. You don't have a say in the candidates that are running. you're just voting for somebody else's candidate.
Yeah, I would argue that the primary is every bit as important as the general election.
For
It's
local,
most-
it's
It's the most
yeah.
Well,
important.
even
Yeah,
national,
I agree.
It is the most important election because that's where you weed out
Yeah,
those people that you know that they're not a real
and
conservative
a
or they're not
huge
really
number of voters sit that out.
exactly.
That's-
And
need
you
to
know, I
correct
mean,
that.
only very low double digits vote in a primary.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, below 20% of the registered voters even show up at the polls on primary. So, if you want to start making a difference in the election, get out and vote in the primary because that's where your vote really, really matters. You know, you've got to exercise your right to vote, and it is a right.
and try to make an informed vote. And ways to do that are Baxter County Republican Committee. You know, locally, there's a wealth of information at our group, Baxter County Republican Committee, and others around the state.
I'm working with a group right now that, for one, for those of you that's never heard of it, there's an organization called Conduit News. It's conduitnews.com. They are the only publication in this state that really monitors and publishes a running tally of what's going on in Little Rock. I was meeting with some people this weekend that they're working on some data collection that will assist us all in our primary selections. Let me just put it that way. I'll have more to put out on this here in the very near future, but there's a lot of people that are really working to be able to help us get information out to the people around the county, throughout the state.
So what you're talking about is basically how they vote and
Well, yeah, for one, on Conduit News, they keep track of the current of each legislative session, and they produce what's called the legislative scorecard, where they grade each and every senator and representative in the state on how they vote according to 4 different parameters. And it's, if you get online, it'll tell you that, all of those parameters and how they do it. But the big thing is we've got to get the number of people that vote in the primaries up if we want to make a difference.
among other things.
So in other news, at our meeting last Tuesday, the Baxter County Republican Committee, Dawson Morgan showed up, and she's wanting to start a Young Republicans group. So if you're under 40, out of school, so any age out of school to under 40, we have a home for you if you're interested in getting in local politics. It's the last Tuesday of every month at the VFW Hall. Our meetings are at 6 p.m., so they're going to start at 5 to 5:45. However, the next month, it's going to be a little mixed up with our dates because we have
Because the filing fees and the filing dates and
filing.
everything.
open filing is November 3rd, and so our meetings probably, it's changed the date. This will be the only time it does that, but
Well, actually, we're looking at possibly 2 different groups of young Republicans. Years ago, they had a teen Republicans in Baxter County, and then they also had young Republicans. The teen Republicans are just that, once you turn 20, you graduate from the teen Republicans to the young Republicans. But we would like to get a group started for each one, you know, for the teens as well as the young Republicans.
Is this
The younger people are they're our future.
is this a turning point?
No,
No,
this
this,
is separate. This is different.
this
than
is separate.
Turning
I mean, that's in the workings also, but they already have enough members of the Young Republicans. So
the
so
turning-
there's a group of them already, which, you know, they'll take as many as they can get also, but
We really can't control the turning point stuff, you know, but the young Republicans, I mean, if we're going to, regardless, you know, I hear people talk about, you know, what Trump's administration is doing. If we don't get the young people of this country involved in politics, regardless of what President Trump does or what happens in the next several years, when all us old people like Joe and myself are gone, it's going to be up to the young people to carry on. So if they're not involved, let me tell you, the socialists, communists, whatever you want to call them, the radicals of this country, they don't sleep. They're working 24/7, so we've got to get our people involved. And it's up to us to get the young people involved.
and you have the power
Make it fun for
to make a difference in this community.
And actually, I think it's urgent because
I do too. I think it's very urgent.
if we were talking about Kamala Harris, President Harris today, I think it might be too late.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it would be,
Like Ronald Reagan said, freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. And we came real close.
history has shown that countries that have gone the socialist direction really they never return.
Not
and
in,
a lot of
not in a couple of lifetimes.
That's right.
It
We
takes,
probably need to wrap this up here
takes centuries.
Okay, well,
So
next week.
next week, we've got,
Ty Cotter from Kingdom Life Recovery.
That should be a very powerful podcast. He's going to come on here and talk about what they do and bring a couple people with him who he's had the honor of really helping out and making a difference in their lives.
this is one of the things that kind of an outgrowth of the Turning Point USA, you know, vigil that we had and all the interaction with a lot of the young people and some of the local elected officials. It's like, how do you save those young people that have made some bad choices?
Yeah.
So this is going to be very important.
Okay, and a few other announcements other than that. Quorum Court every month, first Tuesday, 5:30 p.m., Baxter County Courthouse, second floor. City Council meets first and third Thursday, 5 p.m. at City Hall. City Planning Committee, second Monday, 1 p.m. City Hall, second Monday each month. County Planning Committee, second Tuesday, 11 a.m. at the Baxter County Courthouse. A&P, that's advertising and promotion, third Thursday, 3 p.m. at City Hall. School Board is third Thursday, 6 p.m. at the Administration Building. That's on Rodeo Drive, I believe. Public Safety, the Old Airport Commission, I have to get back to you on that. And then, last but not least, Baxter County Republican Committee is the last Tuesday each month, 6 p.m. at the VFW. Come and join us. It doesn't cost you a penny, and you can learn a lot and meet a lot of awesome people.
Well,
And,
it does
it's-
cost to join, but
Well,
not to visit,
right.
not to come check us out.
You might decide you want to join, but
Yeah, that's true.
come and see if you like us, and I bet you will.
Yep.
So, thanks again. That's all I've got, Russ.
Okay, for any young people out there that are, or parents that may be interested in getting their young people involved, you can either contact us through the Baxter County Republican Committee Facebook page. You can call me, my phone number 619-597-0052. You know, we'd be happy to talk to you, give you all the information you need. So with that all being said, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Same place, same time.